Hey, thank you for joining me on The Mighty Dragon today. And with me, I have writer and director Sylas Dall. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you today? It's just the start of your day, isn't it? And nearly the
It
ending of mine.
it is. I'm waking up and starting up my computer and
Yes.
starting my day. Got my cup of coffee over here, so.
Have I got you at the right time of day, or
Oh no,
do you
yeah,
wish you had more coffee?
no. I just started drinking it, so
Oh.
we'll see. I might get more lively throughout. So,
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that could be interesting. Um, Silas, we've got you here today to talk about They Reach. And I've read that it was a short film before, and now you've made it into a feature film.
yeah, that is correct. I It was originally a short film for a festival in Bellingham, cleverly titled Bleedingham,
Yeah.
and it 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 did okay. Didn't do the best, but it I think it took like a third scariest film in the festival, and it was a lot darker and scarier than the version that everyone will see on the Blu-ray and DVD of the actual movie. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So now it's a feature film. Where can we see it?
so it's going to be on November 3rd. It's actually going to be released in various platforms, some streaming. We're still trying to hold, we're still trying to figure out exactly what, like where it's going to be, but
Yeah.
making those deals. But so far it's um, Blu-ray and DVD on Amazon,
Yeah.
and it'll be in Walmart's, and then also uh, I believe it's going to be on some like Xbox apps and a few other streaming platforms as well, not just physical copies. But I'm a really big physical copy kind of person.
Yeah.
I still have my old VHSs, and I collect records, and
Yeah.
I like actually obtaining a physical copy. So
Yes. Yeah. So so this is a kind of lighter version than what you did before. Is it still like horror thriller?
yeah, yeah, it is definitely the short. If you're referring to the short, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The short was definitely darker. Um,
Yeah.
and as soon as it was done, people were like, "Hey, are you gonna make a feature for this?" Because I kind of set it up. It was a short trailer that
Yeah.
didn't exist, like for a movie that didn't exist, and
Yeah.
so that was kind of funny. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will write a script and make it into a feature. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Ho how long did that take you to do that from the short? And did it kind of go in a different way to what you were thinking?
Um, Yeah, it's funny that you say that because when I was writing it, it took about 3 months to get a rough draft. It's not even a rough draft, I guess. It was a vomit draft. It was just a spill out all these notes and just single spaced the whole thing.
Yeah,
Uh, it was enough to write a series almost, and it was just a big old stack of you know an outlined script kind of thing.
yeah,
There was a story in there, but I didn't go to film school, so I just, instead of like worrying about the format and how to write it properly, I just put everything down on paper and just got it out. And
yeah,
um it wasn't until later when I met my producer and co-writer Bry Troyer, who is a mentor of mine, and when he was at the time he was a script consultant,
yeah,
and he asked me if it'd be okay if he gave me notes on this on this pile of the stack of papers that this vomit draft I had, and and I welcomed it. I was like,
yeah,
yeah, like give me all the notes you got. I That's the only way I really truly believe to grow, is to learn
yeah,
from what you can't see, and to learn from your mistakes that others,
yeah,
from an outside perspective, can see, and to collaborate with other
Yeah,
artists.
yeah. And do you think you'll continue to collab with people going forward, or do you think like, no, I'm just going to do it myself now? Or
You know, after I asked after Bri gave me those many pages of notes, I asked him to do a rewrite with me as a co-writer from page one, starting from page one all the way through, and just trying to keep the structure that I originally had. And I loved I definitely loved working with a co-writer, and it wasn't one of those things where you write a script and then or a portion of a script and then you send it to your friend or your co-writer and then they write it, write a little something and they send it back. I don't really I don't like that process. I like the process of like being in the same room and bouncing ideas off each other and saying like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I'll say a line, and then Brian would say, "Well, okay, what about this?" And then he would say a line back. So I think going forward, I definitely will be writing with Bry again. We're actually already writing two one feature and one series right now. So yeah.
excuse me, I just had a huge coughing session.
Oh no,
I'm
no, you're
not
totally
coming
fine.
down with the virus, don't worry. So hence
No.
having to go on mute.
Oh no, you're
Um,
fine.
no, so I really loved your phrase vomit draft. I just thought back at millions of things that I've written, thinking, yes, I could probably call that a vomit draft myself. So I'll be using that in the future. um, as we're in the week for Halloween, I just wondered what you'll be watching.
Oh man, that is a definitely a big question. Um I like well, so I have three kids and I always like diving into things that I used to watch when I was growing up for Halloween, so that's always fun. They sometimes it might be a little too old. Like they can tell. It's funny because my kids could tell if I'm watching like an older film right from the credits. They're like, "Dad, is this an old film? What is this?" It's super funny because the credits look kind of fuzzy and usually it's well composed. Like it has like some amazing composers doing the score, and it seems retro. And they're like, "Wait a minute, are we watching one of your old movies that you grew up on?" And it's not even that old, like Poltergeist or something. It's like from like they think old is from like the 80s apparently, but
Oh my God.
right, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of silly. So but yeah, usually it's something like that, like something where it's not too gory. Like I do
Yeah.
like if I'm in the mood for gory horror, I'll go in that direction. But usually I have I like suspenseful mystery, character driven, plots usually that aren't just like slasher films. Even though
Yeah.
I do respect that genre and I do have my favorites in that genre, but something like
Okay.
Poltergeist or something fun to watch.
Poltergeist was great, wasn't it? I just remember being so scared as a kid, with Poltergeist. Oh
Mhm.
my God. And that creepy woman, the paranormal woman, like she was just a
Yeah,
classic. I
yeah,
don't think I'll
yeah,
ever forget that woman. Go to the
yeah.
light, whatever she was shouting out.
No, you're totally
Oh,
right.
yeah,
It's really fun that
yeah,
I think in the Conjuring series, I think that James Wan tried to kind of capture it a couple times.
yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah. Oh, and Insidious. That's what I was thinking of, I think.
I
Insidious.
watched both The Conjuring and Insidious recently, and yeah, they are kind of like a bit of a homage to those old 80s
Mhm.
horror films, aren't they?
Mhm.
Um, as a director, I'd be very interested to see what your favourites are from these horror films of the decades. And I've started at the 1960s, and gone through to the 2010s. I just picked out some from the internet actually, what they recommended. So I'd be interested to see what your pick is.
We'll see if I even seen them. I don't I
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
ashamed because I definitely need to brush up on the 60s and early
yeah.
70s, but
Okay.
I do
Yeah.
have one that I'm hoping you're gonna say. So we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see if you'll get there.
Okay, 1960s, I've got Night of the Living Dead, I've got Rosemary's Baby, and I've got Psycho.
Out of those three, I have to pick one out of those three.
Yeah,
Oh, um, oh boy, Psycho's so good. Psycho's so
yeah,
good, but they're all really good. I
yeah,
really have a soft spot for Night of the Living Dead, though.
yeah.
You know, it's really hard to pass that
I
one up,
know.
even.
Wait till you
um,
get to the 70s. That's even harder.
Yeah, because I was while Brian and I were writing the script, those are films that we were referring back to, but um, definitely Night of the Living Dead in the
Yeah,
long intro of the car, like finally getting to the cemetery, but there's like that long intro of
yeah,
that whole part where the credits are, and especially when they remade it in the 90s, and that was kind of the genesis of the beginning of They Reach,
okay.
was long open roads and kind of like a farm looking, like farmland, um and that's actually how we started They Reach, was that. So
Yeah. So Night
I'd
of
have
the
to go with
Living
that.
Dead.
I
Yeah,
have to go with
okay.
that.
Right, cool. 1970s. Right, this is the golden era of horror films for me. We've got Jaws, we've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Carrie, Halloween, Alien, The Omen, and The Exorcist.
There's so
What on
many.
earth?
There's Oh my goodness.
That's too hard, isn't
I
it?
can like maybe label it with the top, like I can narrow it down
Yeah.
by one, like by the top, like maybe the top three, and then from those maybe I can narrow something
Okay,
down.
let's do your top three from that list.
Oh man, okay. I love Jaws.
Yeah,
I and I might be hated for this, but and it I for some reason I don't, in my mind sometimes I don't think it is horrific, but I don't, it's not as supernatural, I guess, in my mind
yes,
for to
yeah,
be a horror film.
yeah.
But I'm gonna get crucified probably for saying that. But I really, I would probably take that out of, like,
Okay,
from maybe a subgenre of suspense, or thriller. But I would take that out. Um, so that,
okay.
God, it still leaves so many though.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Carrie,
Oh boy.
Halloween, Alien, The Omen, and The Exorcist.
I The next one to go would have to be The Omen, even though
Yeah,
I do love that one. I
yeah,
wasn't it's I I'm looking at it as how many times would I watch it, like versus all the other ones that I've seen.
yeah.
And then that's the one that I've seen only like once or twice,
Okay,
but it's definitely not one I would throw on in the background if I were to do something,
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, just have a movie playing in the background, or watch
yeah,
it again. I wouldn't rewatch that over and over, even though it's a classic. That
yeah.
one would be the next one to go.
Okay,
Okay, so Exorcist has got to be in the top three. I just know that because it's super good.
yeah,
Um, I know that one's up there. That one's in the top three. I know the
okay.
Exorcist is in the top three. Oh yeah, what do we have? Chainsaw Massacres left.
Yeah, Carrie,
Carrie,
Halloween,
Halloween, and Alien.
Alien.
I gotta put Halloween in there because
Yeah,
that is very critical in my
yeah,
growing up stage, with because my mom introduced me to Halloween
yeah,
in when I was young, and I found it really frightening.
yeah. Oh
And
my God.
I was watching that a lot during when I was writing, so I have to put Halloween in the top three.
Yeah,
This is where it comes down to it. I don't know.
yeah,
This is what we Alien and Chainsaw Massacre. Is that what we got?
yeah.
And
And
Carrie.
Carrie.
Uh, Chainsaw Massacres. All these movies are like super, super historically, like classic horror films and historical. I don't. Gosh darn, I love Ripley. I
Ah,
love I love Alien, but I think it's such a good movie. I have to take out Chainsaw Massacre.
okay.
I've seen it probably two, I think three. I think I've only seen that three times in my life.
Yeah.
Not one I would keep. I would rewatch and rewatch, but it was definitely a massive um, influence, obviously, for films that came after it, inspiring films that came after it. But
Okay.
then so Alien, what do we got? So Alien, Carrie. I
And
think
Carrie.
I gotta go with. Oh, you're gonna. It's funny because it's like sci-fi, but I gotta put Alien in there.
Yeah, I think I would have gone that way too. I did like Carrie, but
I did
up
too.
against Alien.
Yeah, Alien's just something like Ridley Scott is that. I mean that movie is insane, and it's
Yeah.
you know it's there's nothing like it. So I have to pick that one. And plus
Okay.
we have a pay homage to the uh we have a poster of Ripley in our hero's bedroom.
Oh,
If
great.
yeah, so
That's the one then. So from the
yeah,
70s. Okay,
yeah.
right. If we go to the 1980s, I've got Poltergeist, I've got The Shining, I've got The Thing, and The Fly. Just
Uh
one, please.
okay. Um Gosh darn it. We were talking about Poltergeist. The
Yes.
Shining is probably one of the creepiest movies, and
Yeah.
just that feeling it gives is not creepy, but you know, what I mean, it's this daunting feeling of like in your chest. The Shining gives you this scare.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen Poltergeist probably like 20 times easily,
Yeah.
maybe even more. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if I were to go off of rewatches, what movie maybe would I want to, because they're all good. These are all good films. What movie would I want to rewatch now? I might take Poltergeist out just because I've seen it so many times,
Yeah. Okay.
and I love that film, but
Yeah.
it's I think what was the fourth one? Not The Thing.
The Thing and The Fly.
So I wouldn't do The Fly because I didn't watch that movie a lot. I've only seen it
Yeah.
once. And it was awesome, but I think my mom and my parents loved it more than I did.
Okay.
Even though I do love the movie. It's but again I've only seen it once. So maybe I'll just go with The Thing because I think
Okay.
John Carpenter had a really big influence on me when I was younger because I was into Big Trouble in Little China and Halloween, and
Yes.
then I watched The Thing after that. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this movie's awesome. So I like the
Yeah.
isolation of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. The Thing. Okay. 1990s. We've got Scream, The Blair Witch Project, Candyman, and Silence of the Lambs.
Oh gosh, dang it! They put that last one in there.
Although I wouldn't say that's horror, would you? Silence of the Lambs.
It is. It's like a subgenre, within
Yeah.
horror. I think, like, because horror can be so broad. It's
Yeah.
there's dark comedy horror and mystery
Yeah.
thriller horror and all this. Like there's different. But I mean, I would put it in there. I'd put it
Okay.
as a thriller mystery. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but so it's either between that and the first one, the
Scream.
Scream, and I know that's a really big difference.
Yeah.
However, I grew up with the Scream franchise
Yeah.
quite a bit, and I have a very soft spot in my heart for Wes Craven, and so I think I th- oh, that's a tough one. Scream, or if to me it falls down to Scream and oh man, what would you do? What would you do if you had to choose?
If I had to choose between Scream and Silence of the
And
Lambs,
Silence of the Lambs.
I would say as a thriller, I would say Silence of the Lambs, but for pure slasher horror, I'd go for Scream.
Oh, I feel the same. I think I'm just gonna go with Scream. Just I
Scream.
because I like it's a fun movie to put on and watch during Halloween, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it
so
was so popular, wasn't it, in the
it
90s? It
was
was
it was
hugely
and
popular.
it was its own thing. It started to like birth, this whole a movie within a movie, and they made fun of it. They made fun of itself within it by creating the movie
Yeah.
called Stab in the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just I really liked it, and it was kind of campy
Yeah.
and fun, and yeah. So I'll say Scream.
Okay. Right. And we've got to the 2000s. Now, there doesn't seem to be many in the 2000s. We've got The Mist, got the Others, and 28 Days Later.
Yeah. I go 20 days later.
Same for me. Why would you
Um,
go for that?
because I think The Mist was extremely depressing, and uh, even though I like it, I do like it, but it's not one I'm gonna watch a lot. And
Yeah.
um, I in growing up, obviously I do like happy, like that kind of feel good ending type of thing,
Yeah.
but not all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I do horror films usually they had this thing in the 2000s, I think, where it was like that surprise ending where the killer just is not dead, or
Yeah.
the person walks away and they turn to you, kind of like Thriller style, and they're the monster now or something.
Yeah.
And it's like it started to get almost too tropey, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just love 28 Days Later. It was one that I remember very vividly seeing in theaters, and it was scary, and it was Cillian Murphy's amazing in it. He's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors. Um,
Yeah.
so that one kind of takes the cake on this one. It was, yeah.
Cool. Great. Okay. Finally, we've got the 2010s. There's quite a lot in this list. There's Get Out, It Follows, The Conjuring, Hereditary, It, The Witch, You're Next, Kill List, and A Quiet Place.
Holy bananas. That is a lot. Oh my
Sorry about.
God.
So from what
Holy,
I didn't have in the
oh,
2000s, I've made up for in the
I know, I
2010s.
see that. Oh my goodness. Well, some of those films you mentioned are very iconic, and some of them are I would say very indie and
Yeah,
like, but good in their own
yeah,
right. Your Next is to me almost like an indie film that was like, whoa, this came out of nowhere. That was pretty cool.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I like that movie just because of that. It was definitely a surprise, and I love, like our film. I love, a female protagonist that kicks ass, so that was pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Um, gosh darn, shoot, I'm gonna. I gotta write these down. My memory's not
Yeah.
good this morning.
I've
I'm
got
trying to
get.
think.
Sorry, I've got you
Okay,
right.
no,
First
no, you're
thing,
good.
Get Out,
Get
It
out.
Follows, The Conjuring,
Okay,
Hereditary, It, The Witch, You're Next, Kill List, and A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. I and then near net. Unfortunately, I might have to take out the three bottom ones. I think it's
Okay.
the three last ones.
You're
I might
Next,
take
Kill
those.
List, A Quiet Place.
I
They're
might
out.
take. I might take those out. Yeah, and
Okay.
not that they're bad, but just because
Yeah.
I I'm moving towards. I think with the other ones, I think they were.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh man. Okay,
So you've
so
got Get
I've
Out,
got Get
It
Out.
Follows,
It Follows.
The Conjuring, Hereditary, It,
I,
and The Witch.
I'm gonna take out The Witch, even though that was
Yeah.
creepy. That was super
Yeah.
scary. Um, I think it has to be okay. So my tops have to are leaning towards Hereditary
Yeah.
and Get Out.
Yeah.
These are very like psychological. Like
Yeah.
I guess I'm narrowing it down to that way.
Okay.
It's like Hereditary, Get Out, and there's a shoot. Okay, the first and It Follows. That's right. It Follows is in there.
Yes. And also It as well.
I love it. I I think okay. I'm gonna go with Hereditary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip to Hereditary just
Okay.
because when I saw that movie, and I've only seen it once, but that's not despite that that has nothing to do with me not liking it. It's because it scared the living poop out of me. Because I
See,
was
I
watching it
must
by
see it.
myself. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching it by myself, and I think the whole family was sleeping, and it was late at night, and I was like writing or doing something,
Yeah.
and it it scared me like when I was young and I watched The Ring, like when that
Yes.
came out, and The Ring gave me some really creepy vibes too. So
Yeah.
I haven't been as scared until then, until now when I was watching
Yeah.
Hereditary, and as an adult too, it was like, oh my God, this is scary.
Oh my gosh, I've got to see that. I think that must be my Halloween film for this
It's
year.
definitely creepy.
Yeah. So thank you for your answers there. What will you be doing for the rest of this year, do you think?
The rest of this
Lining up
year,
lining up the projects for next year?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
because as you know, obviously we're going through this period where we can't
Yeah.
be in the same room. So
Mhm.
um most everything is in pre-production right now. Even even for the majors, all the films now being shot, they're having to postpone and
Yeah.
rethink how to shoot things. So, but it's a good time to write scripts. It's a good time to write multiple scripts and revise scripts and to
Yes.
then start location scouting from like afar and
Yeah.
just do all the pre-planning work and all the pre-production work that usually takes almost, I mean, I would say almost as long as post, because I think pre-production probably usually takes you the longest, because if you do it right, then everything else usually goes a a little bit more smooth, but not really, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of gonna go back
Yeah.
on that. Sometimes production, there's always hiccups in production and post production.
Yeah. Okay. So so you're just gonna plan out for next year, and
Hmm.
hopefully, well, get to see They Reach. Hopefully, I'll get to see it in the UK, and I can review it on my blog and
Yeah.
for you, and I'll send it to you. I'll send you my review.
Oh,
So
that would be amazing. That would be so
yeah,
cool.
absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to it. I do love a horror, so I will be looking forward to that. So
Thank
Silas,
you.
thank you so much for joining me today. And sorry for the painful questions here through the horror films through the decades. You did look in physical pain at some stages there, like hating me. So
No, it was
thank-
fun. It was cool.
uh, enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you on the Mighty Dragon again. So thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
time. Thank
Yes, thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. See you next time on the Mighty Dragon. Happy Halloween.